gyro, runway 35, clear for takeoff at traffic slow approach.
And the orange gyro will be departing on the downwind.
Gyro, roger.
What I've done is I've released the rotor blades now. They're free spinning.
Okay.
We're going to go out here. We'll slow down a little bit and engage the pre-rotator.
So that implies that there is a lock on it, a brake of some kind.
A brake,
most
yes.
of the time, okay.
I've applied the pre-rotator now, and we'll just start our run up. And I'll just add some throttle. We'll get up to about 200. When I take off, the stick's going to come all the way back into your lap for a second or two.
All right.
While we gain some rotor speed. Okay, we're going to start our takeoff run. Here we go.
All right.
Stick's all the way back.
Stick full aft.
Full throttle. And here comes the nose wheel up. We're going to balance right here for a second, get some rotor speed, and it just lifts off.
Yeah, very short takeoff roll there. What do you typically have for a takeoff roll in, well, I don't know, let's say calm conditions?
About 300 feet.
300 feet, okay.
Right. Now, once I get the airplane, put a little bit of trim in the airplane, it becomes very stable. I can do the takeoff,
you can
hands
see both
off.
both of Bob's hands. Does no one fly in the airplane? Well, not quite, but it sure looks easy.
It's helicopter guys don't understand that part.
Don't let go! Oh no! Don't let go!
All right, we'll depart the show pattern here. We'll go out just beyond this little lake up here.
Okay.
All right, so while we're over this lake, we got a good idea which direction the wind's blowing. While it will not hover, we can simulate a hover. I guess we've got about a 15-knot wind or so.
Yeah.
So let's pick out something over here. Get a good landmark to give us a reference when we get over this side of the pond. And I'll go into some slow flight.
All right. And I'm going to kind of peek over your shoulder here to look at the instrumentation a little bit. Okay, wow, yeah, you're way down there in speed, all right, so. And
as I get slow, just like in a fixed wing, you'll come up on the power to maintain your altitude.
Okay. Then on that airspeed indicator there, look at that thing down at, I don't know, 25, 26, something like that. Very, very low. And didn't really feel much of anything, it just kind of got slow. Forward motion kind of stopped, but... Now, one thing that people observe, Bob, and I'd love for you to comment on it here, is that the gyro handles wind conditions better than, well, most flying machines that I've been able to watch and be in and so forth. And well, give me your thoughts about how that happens and so forth.
All right. Well, we've got a 27-foot diameter wing.
Okay, so we're a fairly short span anyway.
Right. So the actual wing is only about 8 inches in chord. So it kind of chops up the...
So you're high wing loading.
Right, so it kind of chops up the thermal to begin with. The other thing that makes it so stable is the fact that it's...
What is the rotor speed, and how does... does it change? I'll have to ask the question, I guess.
Generally, in level flight, it does not. The rotor spins as fast as it has to maintain your level flight. For us to change the rotor speed, the only way that we're going to be able to do that is to change the weight of the aircraft. So if you notice, right now we're about 350
Oh yeah, okay. Let me come around here with this camera here. Would you point to that indicator?
Okay, so we're 360 or so, 350. Now, for me to change the weight, the easiest thing for me to do, I don't want to decrease so I will increase the weight of the airplane by making a bank.
Okay.
And as we make this tight bank turn, all right, you see the rotor speed go up. We've gone up to about 400.
So that boosted it quite a bit as it's kind of a smart rotor.
Yeah.
It knows stuff and it does what it needs to do.
And a lot of my students, they want to know, the science behind it, and it's confusing at first. And I just say, look, let's accept the airplane for what it is, and then after you learn how to fly it, go back and read about the science.
So rather than changing angle of attack, it just changes speed.
Yes. So what we've done there, just as fast as it increased speed, it will decay the speed for anything that is negative when you make the aircraft light. So therefore, any of the negative maneuvers or lighten the seat maneuvers are dangerous, and you could slow the rotor down to a point of no return where it becomes fatal.
And how do you not slow it down? Since it's smart and knows how to speed up, how do you
fly normally? Don't fly any negative maneuver.
But like if you jam the stick hard forward, you could cause a problem?
Correct, because now you're going to unload the rotor, and just as fast as we loaded that rotor, it will unload just as quickly.
And then you're basically kind of taking away the wing.
Right, you may not have enough room underneath of you to recover that.
I see.
Now we can fly, we do fly at 1G. Normally.
Okay.
We can fly at 0G.
Okay.
Okay, so we just don't want to go into that negative zone.
I see. Okay. So getting light is not bad. Just getting too light is the problem. Is there a thing like learning how to do stalls or learning how to recover from stalls? What you're really doing?
So one of the maneuvers on the practical test is a vertical descent with a recovery.
Okay.
And we can demonstrate that. Let me to really demonstrate it. Let's go up a little bit higher.
Okay.
So we'll get up to about 1,200 feet to do this maneuver. And we'll carry it down to about 500.
Alrighty.
Okay, here we are approaching 1,200 feet. And our airspeed's about 46 here. We're just going to start to slow up now. I'm going to start to come off the throttle a little bit.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is, I'm just going to leave a little bit of throttle on so we can maintain positive rudder control. And if you notice our airspeed,
okay, yeah,
it's just decaying.
Way down there low again, down to nearly 20. So
right, and now here we are at 0.
Wow, 0 airspeed showing on.
And we are going straight down.
Oh yeah, right. If I can, hope I'm capturing that with this camera here, because we are definitely. It's kind of an eerie feeling to a fixed wing or weight shift pilot like I am. This feels kind of strange. So the recovery from this.
Recovery is we're just going to lower the nose slightly.
Kind of like you'd expect in a fixed wing pilot. So that part's pretty natural.
Right, we have 2 recoveries.
And what did we lose there? I can't quite see that.
We're down to 500 right now.
Okay, so that was a 700 foot of descent during that time. It was not at all exciting. It just, that is not threatening feeling, but it was eerie feeling.
Yeah, if we were to lose the engine here, it's not that big of a deal. You got time.
You still become kind of a glider. You're not.
You've got time to take a breath, look around. Our best glide speed is somewhere around 40 or so. That's going to give us the most time in the air. But hey, I kind of like this. I kind of like this field here, where the right there by the cows.
Okay.
So I'd maneuver around for that.
And that field down there that you just pointed at, there's enough room down there to put a landing in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now we're not going to go all the way down because I don't want to zoom the cows off, but maybe we'll go a little bit lower over here in this this bigger field.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm setting up for the approach in this big field.
And you're gathering a little speed, I see.
Right, kind of like you would pull the wing in on your weight shift.
Right.
I'd turn into the wind. And we're not going to clear that fence, but we'll power up here.
Okay, so it becomes a fairly steep glide angle, but that wasn't. I didn't find that the least bit threatening as far as because also you're not going to use up much space once you get to the ground, so you can look for a small field.
You can put it on something about the size of a tennis court.
Wow!
As long as there are no fences on that tennis court.
How long would it take me before I would be solo and then reasonably confident to go fly on my own, maybe taking passengers?
Everybody's different. You will feel comfortable in minutes in this aircraft. To solo, I'm gonna give you about 8 to 10 hours on the average.
Okay.
And like I said, you'll be comfortable in minutes. You'll be doing touch and goes in about 2 hours. Everything else is starting to take advantage of the fact that it's a gyroplane. And we want to fly it like a gyroplane. There's some differences, like you noticed that approach is one of those differences. we've got all kinds of approaches. To fly this like an airplane, you can do that in a matter of 2 hours. To fly it like a gyro, I want to give you about 8 to 10, at a minimum.
Where do you start to become what I'll call at one with the machine?
Learning curve is very fast on this. I was happy at about 15 hours. 25 hours, I was, very confident that I could fly this aircraft. But it is not a difficult airplane to fly, as I want to give you the stick, and you can find out.
Yeah.
The stick is yours.
Okay.
Pedal is not really needed a lot because we don't have any ailerons to add that adverse yaw.
Okay, so let me see if I steer to the right here.
Okay.
And I'm not using much rudder to do that. Is that correct? Just
correct.
Mostly stick.
Yes.
And it feels like, I would have said that felt like a little bit of adverse yaw there at first. Now, it can't be that because there wouldn't be any adverse yaw on a rotorcraft, I guess. But there was, when I make a turn to the right here, it feels like the nose goes off to the left slightly, just like I would experience in a fixed wing.
Yeah.
But not for the same reason.
No, it's going to be all torque related.
Ah, okay. I'm upsetting the disc.
Correct.
Oh, okay. But it feels the same. So as far as learning, well, do what you do in a fixed wing, and it kind of seems to work out the same. Now, I can't tell what I'm doing with speed. I have a feeling I'm slowing down.
You're about 60 knots right here.
Okay. Have I been slowing down, or have I been?
Not really.
Okay.
Stick is speed in this aircraft. Power is altitude.
Okay.
And that will give you a new fondness for that fact, because at one power setting, we could fly at a lot of different speeds, anywhere from about 50 to 75 or so.
Oh, wow, okay. So let me look over your shoulder here, and I'm going to speed it up a little bit.
Okay.
Just gently. Lowering the nose, just like I'd expect to do. There it is, gone up to 70 now, I see. Okay, now the rudder pedals, let's talk about them for a second.
Okay.
I mean, I have them, and if I push on the rudder pedals, what's going to happen here?
Go ahead and push them. You'll yaw.
Oh, okay, all right. There's actually quite a bit of action there. More than you may want, but so right now I feel like we're kind of going a little bit sideways.
We are.
Okay. So do I need more right rudder or more right stick?
You will need to put some left rudder in, and now you're about balanced there.
Okay.
Yes.
So a slight movement of the yawing action produced by the rudder pedals makes it feel more coordinated to me.
Yes.
Even if those words may not have. Again, I want to try that speed change thing again.
Okay.
Let's see, I'm at about 58 or so, it looks like. Just kind of thinking a little faster. Basically just relaxing my hand on the stick because I was probably holding it back. And sure enough, I've done almost no forward motion of the stick. And all right, it's popping up to about 70 now. Huh. Well, that's a very subtle thing, that pitching motion on the stick.
Yes.
Okay. Now, climbing from here, you would not pull the stick back. Is that correct? You'd add power?
You would add power, and yes, you'd pull the stick back. Our VY, is going to be about 54 knots.
Okay.
Add some power. And just pull the nose up until our airspeed gets to about 55, 54 or so.
Okay.
And that's our climb out. You should have, you have some more power to go.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And a little bit of right rudder.
And a little bit of right to counter the prop P factor, huh? Oh, well, again, the stick forces are negligible. There's hardly any.
Well, and your entire stick movement is, a very small circle.
Yes, very, very small. Definitely.
Because you were, in an airplane, you're moving about a 5%, section of the wing to change direction. This, you're moving the entire disc, so you only have to move the stick 5% as much.
without doing much. So we used to say in hang gliders that the real sensitive ones, well, you just think you want to turn left and you'll start turning left.
Exactly.
And if you go throwing the bar around, you're gonna get a lot more than you bargained for. And that seems to be somewhat the gyro case as well.
Now, you know, you're really, you know, if you're doing some canyon flying or something like that, all you want to do is you want to slow up.
Okay.
Okay, so we're pulling nose up.
Okay, nose way up.
And just kick that rudder over. And it kind of turns in its own space here.
And yet doesn't give that creepy feeling that a fixed wing does of imminent spin.
No.
Because that thing we just did would have felt like a spin to me in a fixed wing. Yep. Or one coming on anyway.
And I think our turning radius there was probably, you know, in inches instead of feet.
So flying into a box canyon, a much different animal than a gyro.
Correct.
In a fixed wing, that's pretty scary, but
because we can turn this literally, you know, on a dime.
And so that's the effect of the prop, not the rotor now, but the prop blast over your tri-tails there, one of which is a rudder.
Correct.
And you got a lot of air passing by there. You kick the rudder, it just spins the airplane around.
Yeah.
Like on a top. Very cool.
It's a fun maneuver to do. Here we're over this highway. We probably really won't move much out of our own top wash there.
Now it feels for all the world like I'm sitting on a swivel. What is the sound footprint, if that's the right phrase?
The Germans are very strict on sound, and they have a regulation of, you know, how high it is. It produces, you know, much sound. And if you've been on the ground, you've heard this. It's a quiet machine. Here we're at like 4,200 RPM. I can tell you right now, the people on the ground do not even know that we're there.
Yeah, not even knowing. And so, yeah, okay, let's do that then for a minute. You're flying across country. We're going to fly up to Orlando now. You want to make as much headway as you can. What kind of speeds will we see? At what kind of RPM would you fly?
Okay, it depends on how much gas I want to burn. So I'm going to get this thing up to about 5,200 RPMs or so.
Okay.
That seems like it's a good range on the engine. And let's see what we got here. Set up, it looks like we're going to true out about 85 knots or so. 80 knots. Now, I will say that this propeller that we have on there is pitched a little bit on the flat side. The one that Galen has up in Michigan, his will easily do 100 knots.
Okay.
He's pitched up a little bit more, but Galen's a little bit thinner than I am. Yes.
For distance. And how far could you go then?
I've brought this down from Maryland on several occasions, and we did have the prop pitched up for speed, and generally I came down here somewhere between 95 knots and 100 knots the entire way. I made 3 fuel stops. It's 880 nautical miles from our airport to this airport. And it took me just a little over 10 hours, mostly because I had some headwind.
Fuel burn are you seeing then?
That's right around 5 gallons an hour.
Well, it's a very comfortable aircraft to be in. About this yet, I might like a little more leg room back here, but I guess I probably could stick my legs out further if I needed to. But in the front seat, well, describe the comfort up there for me. It's
good. You know, like I said, I can fly this for you know, good 3-hour leg or so. It's, you know, it's not the airplane. It's me that needs to get out and defuel.
How much time do we spend on the kit?
You can, if you come to one of the build centers and get the builder's assistance, we can get you in on Monday morning with you and a friend, and most likely you'll be test flying your aircraft on Friday.
Wow, okay, so 1 week if you're kind of dedicated, got a little bit of extra hands to help, huh?
Yeah, it's about an 80 man-hour build under most circumstances,
wow,
depending on the equipment that you select.
And I think we can go back and let's see how she lands, Bob.
Okay.
It's been very educational for me. I hope it is for our viewers as well. I suspect it will be. And I think I need to do some more gyro flying.
We'll approach like this will be a normal approach. With the wind blowing, I'll just have a little bit of power on. We won't do, you know, a powered off approach or anything like that. It's it's a little more work. This would be a typical normal landing.
Okay. I've been noticing, by the way, peeking over your shoulder at the altimeter, we've been under 1,000 most of the time. It doesn't feel weird or scary at all. In fact, it feels kind of cool because I can see stuff a lot better. Do gyro pilots tend to fly around lower?
Yes, it's our safety factor at flying at 1,000 feet is it's kind of like flying your fixed wing at 7,000 feet.
Yeah, you got landings everywhere for what you need. Speaking of that, what kind of panel instrumentation can you order?
Anything from basic analog gauges to Dynon sky views.
And they do stuff that's relative to gyros as well, I presume?
Yes.
Okay.
Low wing on the west side of the airport, runway 1, line up the wing. Please, would you pull down the runway just a little bit so I can get somebody in behind you, please? No problem. 5 off Charlie, runway 1, line up the wing behind the low wing. And the blue low wing behind the white low wing, line up the wing, runway 1 behind him.
Line up, wait, Victor Alpha.
And the white low wing, runway 1, you're now clear for takeoff. There you go. Hold short of the runway, got the one arrival coming in. I'm sorry, hold short of the runway.
We'll hold short, you're clear.
Thank you, gyrocopter. You're clear to land. You're going to the west side, is that correct?
That's correct.
Roger, fly it down the runway for me so you can make a left turn off at Alpha 3. I forgot how fast you were. Alright, now the low wing on runway 1, line up a wait and come down the runway just a little bit so I can get somebody behind you, please.
Alright, line up and wait, we'll move forward just a little bit, real quick.
Awesome, thank you. Moving fixed change approved, have a safe flight. Blue low wing, fixed change approved, have a safe flight.
Super Tower, down to star 787 Delta Mike.
787 Alpha Mike, go ahead.
Behind the Cherokee takeoff.
Look cool for school on the landing.
Roger, sir. Just pull up to the runway and actually pull up behind him on the runway and hold, please. Hold in position.
Pull up behind me and hold 7 Delta Mike.